Good morning, everybody. Ryan the Mighty Quinn here on the Cornerman _MMA. Another fight announcement in the mix, a good one to break up. Johnny Eblen will defend his middleweight title at Bellator 290 for the first time after beating Gegard Mousasi for it in a shutout performance. He will be going against Anatoly Tokov. Now, how does this fight happen? Personally, I think that Johnny is just going to keep going up. Johnny he's a natural athlete. He's a natural MMA fighter. He's got so much to give. I think people are going to start forgetting that he has that he comes from a wrestling background because his striking has become so advanced. Now you have Anatoly Tokov. He's an M1 veteran, a risen veteran, 31-3 record. So he's got a lot of experience, been in a lot of different types of fights, overseas, obviously here now with Bellator in the United States. So how do we break this down? How do things get done on both sides? So fight starts standing. Who's gonna be effective where. Now, like I said, personally, I think Johnny's going to hold this belt for a long time. I think that Johnny is favored in this fight pretty significantly. From what I've seen, I think that Johnny has the size advantage. So let's start with the underdog here with Tokov. Now, Tokov has a very he's got a very free form of style. He's a very good modern day mixed martial artist. That's for sure. Now, I think of all the weapons he has, like I seen he used some trips in his last fight against Dabir, but I don't think that's going to work on Johnny. So he's going to have to just nibble at the victory here. How could he establish his jab? I think establishing jab for Tokov is key in this fight. He's got a pretty sharp 1-2 down the middle. He's got pretty powerful uppercuts too. I saw pretty powerful uppercuts. So I'm guessing he has powerful hooks, although I haven't seen that in his last few performances. How do we set up those hooks now, or uppercuts rather? It's got to be off the feint. Now, I did see he has somewhat of a feint that is pretty. It needs work against somebody like Johnny, I think, but he's got to do something before and / or after that feint. He can't just throw the feint. He's got to catch Johnny, a jab feint to set up a power shot, maybe set up that uppercut, or feint jab to work in and get those body shots, get the telephone booth going, so to speak. But I don't think that's really going to work here. I was trying to think of a good analogy for Anatoly's style for this fight, and the best I could think of as far as striking is concerned is like a Frankie Edgar if he could, but he's not that fleet-footed. Just the 1-2 getting off center, 2-3 or 1-2 again, just scoring that aspect. He does do a very good job of standing his ground, Russian fighters. He does do a very good job of staying in the center and trying to control the octagon, trying to have that, well, it's not cage controls against fence, trying to control the center, control the area. Sometimes Johnny, he does bounce in and he bounces in and out sometimes. Maybe he can cover the gap and try to paint Johnny into a corner. I didn't see a lot of lateral footwork from him in his last few fights. He does come very straightforward, but that could be something he's working on with his camp, or his camp could be like lateral movement. He does have very good head movement as well, which is going to be very good, very big against somebody like Johnny, who has crazy angles of power and damage with his punches. So that's how I would do it. I would just keep it simple for 25 minutes. Just try to get in there, 1-2s off 2-3s, feint jab uppercut, jab feint uppercut. He should be feinting unless he's in the middle of a exchange. He should be feinting every second or third strike. That should be in his arsenal, no stop. That's how he does it. Now, the fight goes to the ground for him. I don't think he's going to be able to take down Johnny, but I would try to, just attack the ankles or something. Johnny's defense on the ground in jiu-jitsu is like second to none. I remember we would just Shoeface would grapple with him. I couldn't submit him even when he was just coming in off the wrestling background. Obviously he's been training for now 5 years since then. He's come a long way, obviously. I would just try to, do what I can, maybe choose some clock and go after angles if I'm on the ground, if I'm Anatoly. That's the best shot he's got. Or if Johnny does a good escape, which Johnny is so good at, to try to get him against the fence and try to land some dirty boxing uppercuts. That's his ground game. So Johnny, the rising star of Bellator as well as mixed martial arts. How does Johnny get it done? Uh, Johnny is so good against strikers, not because he's traditional wrestler shooting under the boxing. He's just so good at keeping his range, like you saw against Gegard. Gegard he has one of the best jabs in mixed martial arts history, and Johnny kind of nullified it. Johnny he was so good at keeping his range, not getting baited into feints or, you know, false distance, so to speak, which he probably learned from his coach King Mo. Mo also beat Gegard Mousasi 10 years ago. And Mo's also from his from a wrestling background, later on known for his striking and knockouts in mixed martial arts. So, Johnny's so good at knowing his range, where he's in and out of danger, that this is where the fits get created for somebody like Anatoly, which is why Anatoly needs to use that feint, because he needs to see what Johnny's thinking, try to see if he can catch Johnny biting, or just use it to cover that half step of distance to land a jab. Johnny, he's got body shots, he's got right off center rights, overhand rights, left hooks, 1-2s moving his head. He just creates so many angles, which creates fits for the 31-3 opponent in Anatoly. It's going to be so touch the gauge, and he's also so good with. He only attacks when he smells the blood in the water. So he's not going to be like other fighters with going into his 13th fight against somebody going into the 35th fight, where he's going to get too excited and he's going to pounce when the knockout's not there. So Johnny's just keep it simple, but with more damaging punches is all he needs to do in this fight. Maybe throw some calf kicks. I mean, I think that kicks would be a very good weapon for Anatoly. I just don't think he's going to be able to work him as well. Johnny also has, if he's going to throw power, go power, catch the opponent blitzing, he does have the ability to take down in this fight, which is going to be interesting to see. It really is interesting to see how comfortable Johnny is just standing up. Again, he did it for almost 25. No, he did it for like 3.5 rounds against Gegard, which was understandably so. I wonder if he's going to keep the whole fight standing. Try to show that he's now a mixed martial artist, which we know he is, which his Instagram claims. That he's comfortable fighting everybody everywhere, and I think he is. I really do think that. He loves working his boxing. He's got a great jab, so. I think that, the key to this fight for both guys is just keep it simple, and then who's going to establish their punching game. If the fight goes to the ground, Johnny can pound him out. Johnny can, I actually haven't seen Johnny really work submissions. He's an MMA, he's working his MMA game, but, I haven't seen Johnny train in a couple of years now. But I think that the way his ground game offers, it's a ground and pound damaging style. So that's what I think would happen if it goes to the fight. Anyway, happy this is going to happen. I'm really looking forward. Johnny's one of my favorite fighters to watch. Maybe I'm a little biased, whatever. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. More to come. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I love talking about these fight announcements. Bye.